So there's this thing going on called frequently asked questions, and different people that are beer reviewers and stuff are getting tagged and getting asked. And Ashley's gonna ask me the questions. I tried to not prepare for any of the questions. I think I heard a few people answering them, but I don't really remember what the questions are. So we're just gonna go for it. So Ashley, ask me question number 1. And what is a Making It Grain episode without a beer? And I grabbed this beer. It's a Sam Adams Nitro IPA. It was 99 cents at the liquor store. So before you ask your first question, we have to hear what this sounds like. I love the way that sounds. Okay, Ashley, let's start with question number 1. Look at that, that's awesome.
How did you get into beer geeking and why beer?
How did I get into beer geeking and why beer? That's a good question. Can I just say that this is a really nice looking beer? I didn't start drinking until I was like 21, 22 years old, and I started drinking a lot of, I was in college, I started drinking a lot of Keystone and Miller Lite and whatever was cheap and whatever we just partied with. It was like a few years later where I realized I really didn't like the taste of beer. So I was like, you know, I really don't like beer. And then later on, I was like 23, I decided I really liked craft beer. So it's kind of like my passion for beer has grown more and more over time as I'm tasting better and better things, and then getting into it like home brewing and figuring out exactly what goes into making this beer and the hard work and the cleaning and everything around the craft beer scene has just become very interesting to me. And I guess it's just kind of grown as I have grown. What's question number 2?
What's your favorite beer?
Well, according to this top 5, the best beer that I've ever had is Bourbon County and Faudier sur Ice. But that's not the question. I guess my favorite beer would have to be Coupe DNR. And quick shout out to Sam Benjamin. He was with me, and it's really the first time that I remember drinking a craft beer that I was like, yes, this is my favorite beer. And it's just got a lot of memories. It's not the best tasting beer out there, but we always used to go to this place, and the first thing we would always get is a DNR, and we would drink it really quick, and that would start our night. So DNR, favorite beer. Coupe DNR, Oklahoma City, shout out. I should start drinking this. If I could have one beer forever, what would it be? Like, that's a weird question. What does that mean? Like, if there's one beer that I could have for the rest of my life, or if I could only have one more beer? I think I would want to have like a really thick stout, something, you know, if I got hungry. Ashley brought up a good point, like if I was stranded in a basement or somewhere, I definitely want to have a stout. First of all, because I love looking at the color of beers, and if I'm locked up in a basement with no light, I don't have to worry about it because I know what a stout looks like. So let's go with a really robust stout, like a 1050, or this Westbrook was delicious. Heck it, let's say the Westbrook. Really insane mouthfeel on that. 7.5%. What's the next question? How can I drink so much and how do I stay healthy? Well, that is like the #1 question for people that drink craft beer or any type of alcohol. So my passion for fitness and working out is almost as high as my passion for beer, to be honest with you. I work out 6 days a week. I count my calories. I am very conscious about what I'm drinking at all times, but it's tough. But you just have to, you know, you have to think how many calories go into a beer. If you're drinking a stout, it can be up to 400. If you're drinking an IPA, it can be anywhere from 150 to 300. So you just kind of, every time I know I'm going to be drinking a lot of beer or reviewing a big beer, I'm going to have to work out extra hard that day. So you just have to be kind of mentally conscious of what you're putting in your body. I don't know. Yeah. Am I an alcoholic? No. My favorite ingredient has to be grains. Making It Grains. I also really like hops, so I like the way it smells. It's just got this crazy smell. And it's funny, with different types of hops, a lot of different hops hold these different types of flavors. So if you get these IPAs and these ales and stuff made with different types of hops, you can really point them out once you start to get to know the hops. And they're so cool. They're like green petals, little green, and they smell good and they taste good sometimes. But sometimes they smell and taste like armpit. But grains, for sure. Shout out to Making It Grains. The next question is, do I brew? I do brew. I home brew. I've home brewed about 6 to 7 different beers. Shout out to the brew crew, Max, Josh, and Jeremy. I'm the experimental research brewer of the group. I like to add all the crazy stuff like jalapenos and avocados and I don't really like to go by a recipe. I just kind of like to throw stuff in and see how it tastes. Ooh, that's a tough one. What was my first beer? I remember my very first time having beer. I was on a pedal boat with my dad in this pond, and he gave me a sip of his Bud Light, or maybe it was Red Dog, but it was one of those gas station beers, and I remember thinking it was really gross, but I kind of felt really cool, but I was also like 8. That was the first beer I ever had, but after that, I don't know. The first craft beer that I remember having was probably the DNR. That's the one I remember the most. Last question. Well, who in the beer world do I look up to? There's not really a specific person that I look up to in the beer world, but I think it's really cool the people that have started the beer breweries from scratch on their own. Big props to them. I kind of look up to them like that's a lot of hard work. The passion that they have for beer is all there. I look up to you guys, and that's it. If you get a chance and you find a Nitro IPA on the shelf for 99 cents, I'd pick it up. It's worth it. It makes a cool noise when you open it. It looks really cool when you drink it, and it's not that half bad. Oh, I'm supposed to tag 5 people. Stephen Bush, of course. I know you review beers. You got to do this because I'm telling you to. And then let's do Trevor and Lace from Taste Test Tuesday. You guys should do this too. And you don't even have to call it a Taste Test Tuesday episode, so you can release it on any day. It doesn't even have to be a Tuesday. See you guys. I'm making it great, Patrick. Bye.